Hey everyone, welcome to the Shoot Parnell Golf Show. I'm Arlen Bento Jr. here with James Stammer. How you doing, Jimmy?
I'm well.
And this is our second episode. If you haven't had a chance, go back and check out the first one. I thought it came out pretty good. We're going to be doing these golf shows to help you with your game, tell you a little bit about golf. We're going to cover some tour stuff. We're going to cover some local golf. And we're always going to try to help you with your golf game based on my Shoot Parnell learning system. If you do want to learn more, the link is in the description. And before we get started, because we got James coming back from the PGA show. We got some tour stuff we're going to talk about. I always have some stories that we can talk about with golf. But we would like to thank our sponsor, which is the Rapsodo launch monitor system. If you're looking for a way to get better at golf, you really need to have good data. And Rapsodo does a really, really good job of giving you data in a home environment. It works in small spaces, so you don't have to have a lot of space, but it gives you really good data. And if you check out Rapsodo, there's a link. And if you use our code, there's some bonus stuff that you can take a look at. So check out Rapsodo. Okay, thanks.
Sounds good.
Anyway, how was the show?
The show was, somehow I must have got on the wrong highway and wound up in Buffalo.
It felt that way, right?
It felt like I was in Buffalo, New York, man. It was windy. It was cold. We played Monday. I went up with my buddy Dan Shube, a colleague of mine.
Right.
We went up. We stopped and played golf on the way up on Monday. It was in the 40s.
Oh,
the wind was blowing. Tuesday's usually a really fun day.
Not so much fun
show because you go to Orange County National and you
take the
walk
big
around that big mile around driving range and you test a whole bunch of different clubs.
Right.
You get to see all the new clubs.
Right.
You try on new shoes.
Right.
Just a whole bunch of stuff to have fun with.
Wasn't good.
And the wind was blowing the rain a little sideways when we got up, and it was in the 40s, and I think the wind chill said it was in the upper 30s.
Yeah,
and we took a hard pass on that. It just didn't happen.
So I did catch some YouTube channels that covered the show and products and things. And one of the guys I was following, they were going around and trying to hit all the drivers that came out. Oh, poor guy, right?
Yeah.
I mean, he did great. But again, you could see he's like, okay, we're trying to hit over here at Ping, and he's hiding in the tent over here, and the rain's going inside. Yeah. So we're waiting for a break, and then all of a sudden, water. You know how intense fill up a little?
Yeah. It'll all dump off the side.
He touched it, and it went whoop, and went right on top of it. It was like, oh my goodness, it was miserable looking.
Yeah, I talked to some of the guys in the media room at the convention center on Wednesday morning. And they were like, "I'll be glad you didn't go."
Yeah, I feel bad.
Was
I feel bad for not. I mean, obviously the people that in attendance, but the poor companies. I mean, they spend so much money to be in those events. Like, it's a lot.
Yeah.
And when you get bad weather, it's really disappointing.
And when you've got a company that they decide that they're just going to invest in the demo day and not get a spot on the floor.
Oh, they lose their whole thing.
They've basically lost their whole week.
Did they still keep the demo area on the side of the range? So a lot of people that were in the demo day, they get to have at the side of the event, there's like a driving range. It's limited flight, but a lot of them have launch machines. You can test all the clubs pretty cool. It looked like, from what I heard through my friends, whoever went, they said they thought it was a good show. They thought it was well attended.
It was hopping. And I don't know whether some of that was because people that usually come down and just play golf
didn't play,
and or maybe
make like they're working
skip one day and play. And
right.
But the floor was as crowded as I've seen it in.
So I guess that's a good 5
or 8 years. Which is great.
Yeah. So that's a good testament that golf is doing well. And I was sharing some information about how golf has changed in the last 5 years. There are more young people playing golf now, like under the age of 35. And I'm talking juniors. I'm talking working people from 35. It's like 65 million players. And it's attributed to YouTube and having all these young creators out there filming things and getting people interested. So anyway, I'm really glad that golf had a good show, because obviously that means companies are investing in the industry. When companies invest, it goes to consumers. And normally there's a lot of stuff out there that I find really interesting. Mm-hmm. And I tend to like to go off and see stuff, because when I was doing sales work, I would be looking for a company that no one knew about. trying to find something. And I could tell you great stories. I mean, I remember finding Volvic golf balls before no one knew
way back
oh
in the
man,
day.
they had a little booth and they had colored balls and everybody's like, who's going to play that? And they were Korean based. I remember, I mean, I could tell you a bunch of stories of like finding products that you kind of know today really well.
Yeah.
And they became big brands. Some of them, I have good stories with. Some of them, they weren't great stories. I tried to help them. Some didn't work out, but anyway.
And those are always the fun companies to find because, everybody, your audience is going to hear about Ping. They're going to hear about Callaway because they've got those marketing dollars. This is the little guy that's, this is maybe his first or second year here, and he's trying to introduce, a teaching aid or a new putter or something. And he's working out of his garage, and those are the kind of guys that's kind of cool to help.
It can be. I do have a really good memory of Jumbo Max.
Mm-hmm.
So I was the first guy, I think, one of the first people actually selling Jumbo Max to clubs in our market. And people, I mean, I remember every pro I took it to said, "What are you doing? Like, no one's going to play this giant grip." And then, but when you explain, Jumbo grip's interesting, right? Because even as teachers, we tell people that the grip has to be in the fingers, right?
Mm-hmm.
But there's something about that bigger grip when you do get it more in the whole grip. So not just the fingers, but more of the palm. If for some people that size really helps them control the club. It's kind of like when we used to talk about it. If you tried to turn a screwdriver, without the handle, there's nothing.
You're not doing it,
right? And so that was Jumbo Max sales pitch. Like, there for some people, when you get enough mass in there, they can actually turn the club.
Yeah.
So for small, like we had like even smaller hands and weaker hands, which you think would struggle with a big grip.
It would feel very odd. Yeah.
They could hit draws with it. It was like opposite of what everybody thought. So, I mean, they've turned into a nice brand. Obviously, Bryson DeChambeau, using it has made it more popular. But back up, this is going to go back maybe 12, 15 years ago.
A while ago, yeah. I remember.
People had hard time putting those big grips on clubs. But anyway, so nothing really cool that you saw different. I mean, every company that's kind of there was there. And
yeah, I mean, it's the usual stuff. I did notice that the trend now is, how some of the drivers in fairway woods, you've got the sliding weight. You loosen it, you can slide it front, rear, right, left. They're getting rid of those channels and the sliding ability of the weights. Now there's just dedicated spots for those weights to go, and that's it.
That's it. Yeah.
And a lot of them were saying it's a much more added expense.
To build the channel
in there.
Sure.
And they're finding that a lot of 99% of the players are
set the channel,
set it, forget it, and go. So why spend all that extra money? And of course, you'd think then that $700 driver might be a little less, and then no.
Oh, no, it doesn't work like that.
No.
You have to pay for research and development, and a lot of corporate CEOs that make a lot of money now. I'm just joking about it. And I think people who follow me, they know I'm sponsored with Cobra and Puma. I just ordered my new Cobra driver that's coming out. 33 different fittings in the head. You can actually it's the most you can move a club around.
Oh, wow.
All these different directions. Almost, it's kind of a lot. And then
that's a lot.
We're going to see how it all works. And then I got new irons coming and a bunch of new stuff. So as my new stuff comes in, I will be talking a little bit about it, and I will do some product reviews, and I'll test some stuff, and we'll put it up, in the show.
Cool.
So anyway,
awesome.
Show was really good, I guess. And, I like to, if you've never had a chance to see the show, go online, look at some of the videos. It's really cool watching all that stuff. And I do miss like hanging out after the show. I don't really miss shows. I don't miss working the shows, but I do miss there's always something to go to. There's always a company hosting something.
Oh, Ireland had a great little.
Did you find that?
Ireland had a great little cocktail.
The country of Ireland. Oh, like go play golf in Ireland.
Yep. Yeah, play golf in Ireland. They had a nice little cocktail party. And, tried a few libations.
They did a good job with it.
They did a very good job.
Oh, that's fun. See, I miss that kind of stuff.
Yeah. Yep. That's always fun.
Yeah. So anyway, what we want to talk a little bit about now. So we covered the show, kind of let you know what was going on, and check that out. There's a bunch of people that cover it, new products, and we'll be talking about some new products. Wanted to help you with your golf game a little bit, and this is what we call the Shoot Par Now segment, right? So want to make you understand what Shoot Par Now is. It's a skill-based learning system that I developed that teaches players how to work from the putting green to the tee box, okay? So you want to get good at how to putt, then you want to get good at chipping, you want to be able to hit some approach shots in, work from 50 to about 100 yards, and then work your way back. The last club we really focus on is going to be driver. And a lot of people don't understand, like they think the driver is the most important swing. And it's important because you want to get off the tee, right? Like you don't want to.
You got to be in play.
But if you actually develop your golf swing from the shorter clubs to the what I call mid irons, long irons, fairways, the driver is not that hard to hit because it's big and it's on a tee, right? The hard thing to do is to learn how to take a divot and make good contact and kind of keep your body in the right position. So if you're watching this and you struggle with golf and you can't quite figure out how to get better, check it. Yeah, well, we're going to put you, we might have to put you in one of the trainings, see if you can follow it. And but if you follow the system, there's an online app we use. There's a membership you can join. There's a bunch of things you can do if you want to get better. So just check out the link in the description below.
Cool.
Had a real interesting week because you were up there, in Buffalo, New York, aka Orlando, and I was probably here in like Pittsburgh.
Yeah.
Not quite Buffalo,
Not
but
quite Buffalo. Yeah,
it
didn't get the light effect. But it was
cold. I actually didn't run my golf training classes on Friday, and I got someone on Saturday and Tuesday. I had to. Well, that Tuesday when you're up there, I had to wash the whole Tuesday because they were projecting with wind chill. We were in the 40s.
Yeah.
And again, I know everybody who's watching in cold climate, you're gonna make fun of us, right? Like, but
go right ahead.
yeah, sorry, but that 40, I can't feel my fingers. I got full beanies on. I'm dying out there, and I'm like 5 hours out there. No, thank you. And my students don't enjoy it. So anyway, it was weird last week. Plus, we had a bunch of rain.
Yeah.
So I don't know if you did you see how much snow that dropped in the Panhandle in New Orleans?
Pensacola had 10 inches of snow
On the beach.
They had snow on the beach.
It looked like Alaska.
They had what they were calling Gulf effect snow because all the humidity and dampness over the Gulf of Mexico was turning into snow.
Isn't that crazy?
It's crazy.
I've been here a long time, like 30 years. I have never seen like deep snow in North Florida. I know we get flurries, but nothing like that. I saw a video on Instagram from like one of my classmates from like high school who always goes to vacation, like in Destin or someplace up that way. Mm-hmm. And they were walking down like the beach and the pier, and it was just blanketed with snow. And they were so disappointed because they could have just stayed in Texas. It was probably warmer.
Yeah. It was pretty.
I don't know if it was pretty.
I mean, it's kind of, fresh snow is really pretty, but
it's pretty if it's where it's supposed to be.
We're supposed to be.
It's not pretty when it's on a beach.
And you're dressed for it.
Yeah, in Pensacola. Yeah. But, again, we dealt with that last week, which is kind of crazy. But, it's busy down here. A lot of people playing golf.
Today's a beautiful day.
Today's gorgeous. I don't know. Today must have been middle 70s, sunny.
Yeah, mid to low 70s.
It was gorgeous. So if you're in cold weather, come on down. Come visit us. We're on the Treasure Coast. Port St. Lucie, Stewart, a lot of great golf. Come take a lesson. We can help you.
Back to being a Sunshine State.
Now. We are back to being a Sunshine State. So, what's going on the tour besides anything you picked up?
Well, the tour was at Torrey Pines.
Oh, that's right. Oh, I forgot, man. I didn't even.
That's a beautiful golf.
I get so consumed with lessons.
I know that they shoot there. Yeah. It's just insane.
Was it?
Yeah, it was very pretty.
You were telling me a story.
Harris English won this thing.
That's a name you haven't heard in a while.
Haven't
and that's such a great golf swing.
He played very well. Finished. They had a lot of wind issues. They didn't have the rain and the cold so much that we had, but they had a lot of wind, and they really struggled the second day. Now, interesting. They started this event on Wednesday.
Okay.
Because they didn't want to go up against football on Sunday.
Makes sense.
So they played Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday. So it was interesting. You're watching this thing.
On a Saturday.
On Saturday, and you're thinking, oh wait, these guys, why are some of these guys trying some hero shots? Because it's the last day, it's the last round.
A lot of us never caught up to that. Yeah.
But one guy I wanted to mention,
and it kind of funny because
started the day.
We were talking about the other guy last week, making a 13 or whatever.
Making a 13, and then you've got Aldrich Potgieter. He's from South Africa. Started the final round in third place by himself.
Okay.
So this guy's he's playing in the last group.
Big stuff, big money.
Big money. I mean, this is a big opportunity for him. Unfortunately, he didn't play that well.
Oh boy.
He shot 6 over par 78.
on the last day.
And fortunately made a birdie on 18 that moved him a little bit. He went from being in 24th place to a tie for 15th.
Oh, that's a huge jump.
And I figured it out on Saturday night that it cost him almost $300,000 in prize money.
That's
had
so
he managed to stay in third,
of course,
instead of falling back. That's painful.
Well, you know, anybody who knows that golf course, right, which is an iconic golf course, right, and they made it really long. It's long.
Oh, it's
not an easy
well
place,
over
right?
7,000 yards,
right? And to be able to have to play that with the wind, that's going to be difficult, right? But you know, this kind of shows you what I talk a lot with my students, right? Good players can fluctuate. Like I'm talking tour level guys. If you look at their scores, right, they can go 65 to 75 in a hurry.
Yeah.
Very, very easily, right? So you would be shocked how many players I coach that don't understand why they always shoot 87 and today you shot 98.
Yeah.
Like they're so upset, right? Like they feel like the world is, collapsing around them. And I'm like, what are you talking about? Like good players go 10 all the time. Yeah. So what should
it can happen.
Yeah. What should a 16 handicapper do?
Yeah.
Not 10. I mean, it can be a little more. So I always tell people, like, sometimes people get so consumed when they don't have a good round, and I'm like, it just sort of averages out. A lot of my philosophies now, as I coach and been doing it much longer, right? And we were just doing this with my son George, who we're filming a new series. You're going to see some links. I'm going to try to help him become a scratch player. This is my son, and we were talking, or in some of the stuff we're working on, and we were having conversations about how, when you're a good player, you just kind of like drive it in play, and you pick the club and you pick your yardage, you hit your shot, and half the time you're sort of there, and half the time you're not.
Yeah.
As a good player, all you got to do is chip up and make a putt, right? So if you can get your chip and your pitch close to the hole when you miss a green, you can keep your scores, in the 70s.
Yeah.
It doesn't require you to hit the ball really that great to keep your score down. You just have to take big numbers off your scorecard, right? Not have, doubles and triples.
Yeah.
And again, maybe hit it close enough so you make a couple birdies during your round. Because it's always going to be like, make a couple birdies, miss 6-8 greens, but get up and down in half. And there's half that you kind of make bogeys. So like 4 bogeys, 2 or 3 birdies, 1 over par. It just looks like that. But gosh, I'm trying to explain to people, like, they think they're supposed to hit the ball like right down the middle, perfect
every time.
Yeah, the tour stats show with 100 swings that tour players have about 70 yards of margin.
Wow.
So they're 35 each direction.
That's quite a bit.
It is. It's
a long way.
But you think about it, it's just over a small fairway.
Yeah. Yeah.
If you 50-yard fairway's kind of tight, but 20 each way, so you're kind of light rough, maybe heavy rough, but that's the stat. So if you're watching this and you're a 12 handicap, 18 handicap, like, you're not going to hit it into a window all day with your driver. What you're trying to do is keep it in play so that you can score the ball, And
then you get those days where the hole looks like it's about this big.
It can.
Every putt you hit goes in.
Those are the moments we live for.
And then there's days when it looks like it's the size of a thimble.
So just like that poor guy on tour, right? So if I've never heard of him. Have you heard of him?
No, I hadn't heard of him before.
So let's assume, again, he could be a great player. We just never heard of him. But, to be in contention, right, to win on the PGA Tour, and you're in third. So that pressure going into that changes, right?
Yeah.
Not only the pressure of like, can I win, but I'd be shocked if he wasn't thinking about the money.
Yeah.
Right? Like, I'm third. If I just stay here all day.
Yeah.
I don't even know what the purse is now for third, but it's got to be close to $1 million.
Yeah. The winning
is what?
Was 1.6 million.
Yeah. So third's probably like 800
Third
grand.
was like, it was something crazy.
So, but for a young player, gosh, 800 grand, that's like a life-changing event, right?
Oh, yeah.
So it's very easy to get caught up in your score and what you got to do. And he probably played a little tighter and he should have. And again, this is why people say it takes experience to win. It takes experience to like play well, because you almost have to like let that go.
Yeah, you got to learn to lose before.
Yeah, you're a good player. Just play your game, right? So there was moments. So was there a moment in there where he had a big number, or he just kind of lost?
He had one double and then just kind of several bogeys after that. You know,
he got on the
never
bogey.
never got it rolling.
So
Got
we
on the bogey train.
yeah, it's funny. So I call that the bogey train, right? And do you know what the secret is to get off the bogey train?
Oh,
You're gonna hear it. You ready?
hopefully it's not hit a car that's coming down.
No. So here's what I always said. Now, this will change over time because trains get faster, but I call it, so trains don't go from 0 to full speed. They have to kind of chug.
Yeah, they build it up. Yeah.
Right. So whenever you play and you flip, it's kind of like your train fell over and it's spinning. That's
Yeah.
what you feel when you crash and bogey bad holes, right?
Yeah.
So I always tell my players, look, you can't go back, like you can't get the train back on the track and fire it.
Yeah.
You kind of got there a certain way, right? So you kind of put the train up, and I always say, just hit one good shot.
Yeah.
Nothing crazy. Just find the club, just catch one solid, right? Chug.
Yeah.
And then find the ball and hit another good shot. Chug.
Yeah.
And then get to the next one. Chug. And before you know it, chug turns into chug.
It's
and
rolling
chug,
along.
And chug and chug. And you sort of get the train back on its track. A lot of players, and I don't know exactly what happened with him, but he could have got on that double and mentally, right, lost it and went, holy, I'm out of contention, right?
Yeah.
I got to go make it up. And you fire, and before you know it, now you're 5 over.
Yeah.
And then you can't catch, right? Instead of just like, calm down.
The guy you really feel bad for is the caddy.
Oh, he's probably because he can't stop the train.
Because he can't, no matter what he does, he can't. And he's watching this money just get thrown.
Oh, caddy's losing money too, big time, right? Yeah. Well, but again, hopefully, this is a story like we might look back at our show a few months from now, and this guy might win a major.
Yeah.
Because you almost have to go through this process at every level.
Yeah.
To have the experience to be able to compete and do something on the highest level, right? Wouldn't it be cool? What's this guy's name again? Do you remember it again? It's such a hard name. I can't remember it.
Pot guider.
Yeah. Pot guider? Like I guide a pot?
Like, yeah.
Like a pot that I...
Gaiter.
One
of those South African German names.
Yeah. Okay, I get pot guider. Well, I hope Mr. Pot Guider checks out our show. He probably won't. But if you do, I'm rooting for you in your next major. Because hopefully, even a 15th, he might get enough money to play in something big this year, right?
Yeah.
Yeah. But this is 2 weeks in a row where we brought up topics about the PGA Tour guys struggling.
Yeah.
And it goes back to what I try to like coach in my Shoot Par Now programs, right? Like golf just plays that way. Yeah. Sometimes you go out and you have it, and like you said, the hole is gigantic. Yeah. And then sometimes it's not.
I mean, like you said, you watch it on tour, and a guy on Thursday might go out and shoot a 63 or 62.
Yep.
And you're thinking, oh, he's going to run away from everybody. And the next day, he's like struggling to break 70. And then, there might be another day where he has a really good round. And golf is a very tough game.
It's so tough. And to be consistent at it is so hard. And people, it cracks me up, right? So it's not, like I was never like that close to it, but there are a few times where you're in environments which feel pretty close. Courses are really hard, greens are super fast. People you're playing with maybe were on tour or I've had that experience, and the golf course is so different. Like you cannot explain it. But any player out there who's tried to qualify for when as a club pro, even when I was working, we would always try to get in like the Hawaiian Open where I'm from.
Okay.
Right. So we would all get geared up and they'd give us a day. And, if you shoot 67, you get in. Right. But everybody's so worked up.
Yeah.
Because it's such a big deal. Oh, and I always said it's pretty funny because there's always somebody that I knew would get in every year. I think the best I ever shot was like 71 in one of those or something. But
so Michelle Wee got in and you didn't.
Yeah, well that's different. She got in because she was just good and she was Michelle Wee. But I was always more worried that I did get in.
Yeah, what am I going to do if I get in?
My goodness, can you imagine? I would lay an egg like you have no idea. I guarantee you, I couldn't have pulled the club.
We'd be talking about you on the next
I would have on the front page news. I would have been like, guy hits 15 on hole 1, breaks windows.
What is wrong with Arlen?
Oh, I'm telling you, it would have been bad. I really think I would have been like 1 iron.
Mentally, it just wouldn't have clicked.
It would. I would have been petrified. I really do. I always used to say that, like, oh, I almost got, it's like 2 shots away of getting in, but oh man, I'm glad I didn't.
I had a guy use the speed of petrified. I had a guy one year I talked to that had played in the Pro-Am at Disney, and he was in Tiger Woods' group.
Oh boy,
This guy had something to do with Coca-Cola. A lot of money. Was from Chicago, and I asked him. I said, "What was it like to play in a Pro-Am as a Tiger Woods as your partner?" He goes, "I was scared to death."
I bet.
He says, "You look, they're 10 deep down the fairway." He goes, "I'm not that good." He goes, "I spent my whole day going, oh God, just don't hit anybody."
Right.
He was deathly afraid on every tee he was going to hit somebody.
I'm telling you, it is. I would feel that too.
Yeah. He says, "I would have rather played with somebody, ranked 100th in the world instead of the number one player in the world." Because
so I've got a story. I got to tell it now because you made me think of this. So this is years ago. So I'm playing in the Pearl Open, which in Hawaii is the week before the Hawaiian Open.
okay.
So if you get in the Pearl and you're playing the Pearl, you're going to play with a tour player because they're all there practicing, right? So it was always like something that was fun to do, right? But I remember one time, so I'm not playing with the tour guys, right? I'm on the back nine or whatever. They don't let the players that aren't. I mean, I'm a good player, but So I'm coming up on my first nine, and the tee box is full with it's just packed. There's hundreds, if not thousands, of people, and I catch a wedge in the fairway thin. So I fly 9, hits a cart path over the green, and goes on the first frickin' tee. True story.
That's got to be interesting.
So no, it's full everybody's got to move. So there's a 3-story clubhouse and their verandas, and they're all looking at the hole. There's a big putting green in the first tee, and I forget there was somebody famous
So maybe wonder what you're doing over there.
Oh, wait. So now listen, this is an uphill hole now. So I went path, bump over the putting green. Now I'm on the side of the first tee. I got to hit a lob over palm trees downhill in front of everybody. And I remember telling myself, I'm going to shank. I'm going to shank this ball in front of everybody.
I'm going to hurt someone.
And this will be the end of my golf, because they'll be like, hey, aren't you the big guy that shanked on the first tee at the Pearl?
People will show up the next year with hard hats on to follow you around.
I don't know how I hit the shot. And this is probably the only thing I could
most pressure-packed shot of your life.
I hit this great little wedge, and it flew straight up in the air and landed right on the green. Everybody clapped, and I walked in. I just kind of tipped my hat like I knew what I was doing. I wish we had video back then. That would have been
to do that.
Yeah, it's it's easy, no problem. I just flipped this right up. And I remember thinking to myself, I probably 3-put, I don't even remember, but I remember thinking to myself, oh my goodness, I got to go up. And they had to move all the people and all the scorers and the caddies, and it was terrible. So I do know what it feels like to be in a situation like that, and it's not fun.
That's crazy.
So anyway, but we're going to wrap up our show for this week. I hope you enjoyed it. Please like and subscribe. Leave some comments. We're always looking for things to talk about. And again, we're going to keep looking at some tour stuff. We'll talk a little bit more about some local stuff. Anything that I see coming up, we're going to help you with your game. We're going to talk a little bit about some lessons here and there. We didn't talk too much about lessons today, but I'm here for you if you need it. So
we got the AT&T Pebble Beach Pro-Am this week.
Big week for that.
Big week for that.
Yeah, getting prepared for our. Remember, we used to do the Masters thing when we used to have the radio show. So we're gonna have to do that again.
We're gonna have to make
pimento cheese sandwiches. Yep.
I stole some of your recipe.
Okay, we have a little contest where we do this pimento cheese, and it's kind of a fun thing. So thanks for watching. We'll see you guys next week.
Take care, everybody. We'll see you then.